So last week, we got the Tundra in the shop. She's back, just like we are. We're back from the trip down to Florida, and everything went flawlessly. Leading up to the trip, there's a couple things I could have done better. And that's what we're going to talk about on this week's Tuesday Morning Tech Tip from Pugliese Speed Shop. So if you guys saw last week's video, you already know that we had to get back in there and put that little gasket back in for the spark plug, which these things happen, right? Luckily, we caught it when we did. It could have been a mess if it actually stayed on the truck and ended up on the road somewhere. I would have never noticed it. We had some pretty torrential downpours down there in Florida, so it could have caused a problem. Luckily, we didn't have to worry about it. You may also remember I showed you where I forgot to plug something in. And if you think I remembered after I installed that little gasket, you'd be mistaken. Because I was Russian, guys. I'm still Italian and Irish, but I guess I was in a rush. I want to make sure you guys understand. So, and when that happens, you start moving faster, you start forgetting things. I realized it when I started the truck and I popped a coat. There may be a couple other things I screwed up along the way. Not using the right tool for the job, and not allowing for the right amount of time, guys. I really kind of waited till the end. You know, why do something today when you can put it off till tomorrow? I mean, it's a terrible way of thinking, but it's exactly what I did. But because she's a good truck, flawlessly down to Florida and back. We cruise along 80 mile an hour most of the way. My ma, awesome passenger, guys. I kind of forgot my old man drove a truck for a while. I mean, I didn't really forget, but he drove a truck for a number of years, and she would go on trips with him, and she has still got it ingrained in her brain from the early 80s that she sits over there, she talks to you to keep you awake and alert and all that kind of stuff, and when we stop for gas, she uses the restroom. It was a great trip, guys. I haven't made a road trip with my mom of that magnitude since my dad was driving a truck in the early 80s. So it was really cool to kind of do that. Think made some new memories, talked about some of the old ones. And we're going to sit down and talk about what I could have done better. And I'll let you in on another secret of something else I just did wrong. Shocked, right? All right, guys. First, we're going to cover the technical things I did wrong. Then we'll talk about the planning things, and then I can tell you a little bit about the trick. You ready? All right, here we go. I almost clapped again. We only do one. Only one per episode, all right? So, when I first pulled that first plug off that you guys saw on the video, when I pulled the coil pack out, that little gasket stayed there. And I thought it kind of clipped in or something like that because new cars, and we know I don't know nothing. So that's what I thought. Until I went to put it back in, I tapped that, and it moved. And I said, oh, okay. So I took it off, put it on, and made sure I had my fingers on it as I put it back down in the hole. And I said to myself, I said, self, let's keep an eye on that because this could be a problem. And I did. Every one I pulled out, made sure it was on there. I had a little tray there, placed it in it, and we went on with no problems. The very last one, in that back corner, there was a lot of stuff in the way. So I kind of had to finagle it, and I know I tapped like the harness there or something, or I didn't quite get it in the hole when I hit the edge or whatever. And when I did that slid forward. Then when I pulled it back to put it in there is when it fell out. Guys, somebody looking down upon us to say, I was able to find that when I came back because it fell right out, and that's really lucky. If you guys know that I don't have the skid plate on right now, that might have been part of the what helped us out. But yeah, it was. If it would have got stuck anywhere, it would have come off on the side of the road. I never would have saw it, never would have known it. And then when I had some kind of problem with that plug, I'd be like, what the hell, right? So that's where I screwed up there. And then I kind of You can't see back in there, and I tried to show it in the video, but because you can't see, I really couldn't show it, right? So that was the problem. And all the other clips for the connectors were, you could see the connector where this had a rubber cover over the whole thing. Because of where it was, I don't know whether it was water or heat or whatever, but it had a cover. So I just didn't see it. And I didn't put it back on, and after I started the truck, I had codes, well, one code, I think it was basically, hey idiot, look at, look at the back spark plug. And I kind of knew what it was right away, good to go, cleared the code, we were fine. I talked about that in the video. And then, when I put that new plug in, that gasket back on, put that plug in, torqued everything, did everything right, again, I couldn't see that connector, and I forgot about it, even though I just talked about it. And I started the truck, and guess what, guys? Yeah, same code. Hey, idiot, what are you doing? So I knew right where to go, cleared the code, we're good. And in case I had any issues, I threw the code reader in my little tool bag I keep under the seat of the truck. You guys know I keep one in every vehicle. So that's just a good idea. That's just smart baseball, Well, that's where we already talked about me screwing up. I didn't do the best job gapping these plugs. And I say that because I didn't have the right tool. So I said, I mentioned in the video, guys online, they're always hitting the groups. What plugs are you wearing? What this, what that? What's wearing? Who's wearing plugs? Man, maybe. But actually, I'm wearing a shirt with a spark plug on. So there you go. That's what I was thinking. No. What plugs are you running? This, that, tire pressure, tires, exhaust, all the stuff. All these guys are asking other chimokes on the internet for their advice, which is never the way to go, guys. Toyota has done the research, okay? And some of the, you got some aftermarket stuff. If you're running some aftermarket stuff, that might be a little different. But if you're running, I got a cool air intake on this, exhaust and a tune, that's it. Nothing crazy, right? And one of the things I love about this truck, one of the many things, I absolutely love everything about it. All my buddies that drive Tundras, which I have quite a few that have had them or have them, I get better mileage than all of them on 35s, right? Now, that has nothing to do with the way it's tuned or anything like that. I got better mileage, when I had the stock, everything stock. These guys, and maybe it's my style of driving. I get after it sometimes, but not all the time. But bone stock, I was getting 19 to 20, which is unheard of in this truck, right? And my buddies are getting 13, 14. Now, no matter what I put behind this truck, I put this little tiny trailer. When I came back with the cab, I got 12 and a half. I pulled the 50 Mercury down the highway, 75 mile an hour, I got 12 and a half. I pulled the Le Mans back, 12 and a half. You get the picture, right? So no matter what I put behind it, that's what I get. And I ain't mad about that. It's not bad. Especially when that's not far off of what most guys are getting, bone stock, just running down the highway. So after I lifted it, I was getting 16, between 15 and 17. I don't keep a crazy eye on it, but it's a good way just to know, if there's something wrong in the motor before you get a code or something like that. And the digital speedometer drives me nuts. So instead of having that up, I had the gas mileage thing, which helps me keep my foot out of it a little bit. And might have presented me for a couple speeding tickets. So we'll see. But so when I decided to change the plug, just put back what you have in there. Like, I remember back in the day, E+4s, E3s, or whatever, T+4s, Spitfires, all these different hotter spark plugs, which was blowing head gaskets from what I understand back in the day for cars that were not prepared for it. Might be an old wives' tale, but that's what they say. Either way, I put them in my 5-liter. Didn't run any different. So that was all the myth busting I needed. I went back to a stock plug. So this truck, this is what they ran. Toyota has the, see right there? The Denso Iridium? That sounds like a word. It's exactly, you guys saw me. I compared them. Here's the plugs that came out. They were identical next to each other. Well, the problem with these kind and platinum plugs and all that kind of stuff that gets you better mileage and lasts forever. I mean, we used to do plugs 25,000 miles. Now we do them at 100, you know? So actually, some cars you had to do them 10. I mean, it's just, you know, times have changed. The technology has changed. So has the tools. All right. I believe I use this guy right here for a spark plug gap. I have two of them. Here's the other one. It's pretty much the same thing, just different shape, but right, same basic process. And when the problem here, you put the spark plug, right, and you run her down here. When you get a little tight is when you should stop, right? So you get a little tight, and then you might have actually already damaged the little rhodium thing there. And if when you gap it, and this is where I screwed up. I'm used to the old stuff, guys. You just it's rough, tough, do whatever. But you know, to push it, you know, you kind of put it like there, and you kind of push down to get a smaller gap. What I've always been taught by old school hot rodders is you just put it on here and you just kind of force it until you get to the gap you want. That's not it. This little hole here, if you notice, it's kind of beveled. Is that the right term? You put it in here and you kind of give her a little pry. You see what's going on there? So you're not putting any pressure or scratching anything in that tip there. What do you guys think I did? Yeah, the way I was taught 100 years ago. I just put on here, press it, okay. And I over-gapped them a little bit because I looked at the internet and all these kind of things, of course, right? That's what we all do. But this one's right at 0.40. It's got 114,000 miles on it, but that's where it was. And I put the other ones just past there, not on purpose, because I did it incorrectly, is why. I forced it, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute, and I tried to bend it, and so there is no question in my mind that I damaged every single tip that I put in this truck. I was worried about it then, but everything ran great. I get no codes, so I was like, you know what? When I took it out for a ride, I had a little more get up and go. I was like, oh, okay, I can definitely feel a difference. So that maintenance was needed. Well, then I started looking at my gas mileage. And now, when I stayed like 60-ish, I was getting around 15 or so. When I got riding down the highway 75 mile an hour, 12 to 13, which is not what I ever got in this truck. It was, at some point, it was actually worse than pulling a trailer behind me. So I started doing a little research, and that's when I learned they make a different type of spark plug gap, which I actually knew about it. I just don't have one, but I'll put a picture of it up here. And this little wire guy is what you want to use if you got iridium plugs or platinum plugs or anything other than your old school, you know, when you put in a small block Chevy or whatever. So we're going to retire these guys to leave them for the old ones, and I'm going to buy a new one, order new plugs, and do it the right way. So now my $60 tune-up is going to cost me $120. But, guys, you can't put a price on the lesson I learned, and I won't do it again. So there's that. And now that I've gotten so good at these tune-ups, I should not have any problem knocking this next one out. Man, that kind of sucks, right? But like we mentioned with the trip, everything went great. We left out of here Thursday afternoon, shot down to Savannah, spent the night there, got up in the morning, knocked out a little Waffle House. Mom loves the coffee. And I asked her before we go, hey, you can fight, right? Because we're going to, come on, yeah. She's good. Don't worry about it, guys. Trust me. I know from experience she can throw, so we're good. But no, we had gotten to Florida the next day, and on that Friday, saw family and everything like that. And I didn't really mention what we were going down there for. I had a couple questions, and I'll tell you. If you remember, guys, it's been about 4 years. I did a video talking about my Uncle Buddy, how he was a Vietnam vet, Retired New York City cop, moved down to Florida, and became an author. I think he's got 24 books published. I'm gonna have the kid put a link in the description to his books on Amazon. You guys want to check them out? They're about his time on the police force, and they're fiction-ish, but based on real events and just things you might have seen. It's a good read, guys. Check them out. So he's been down in Florida since '91, and I've seen him a handful of times since then. And unfortunately, guys, he passed away. And he was my mom's older brother, and they were super tight. And just an amazing guy. I mean, the American Legion was down there, did a little thing for him. He was a hero on many levels between his military service and his police service, and they mentioned that. And when my cousins mentioned he's an absolute rock star at the American Legion, when they walked in there, just like the seas parted for this guy. He's just an awesome guy, funny as could be, and yeah. So we wanted to go down there and honor him, and I wanted to make the trip as stress-free as possible for my mom. I think I nailed it. There was a couple times I wanted to get a little upset on the road, and I didn't, because I didn't want to get her upset. I didn't want to stress her. But yeah, we were never the best reason to make a trip, but like my buddy said, it's all about family. So I'm happy we did it. Got to see everybody, and got to pay respects to an amazing man. So now everybody knows, and now you know why I didn't care about putting that other stuff on the truck, because I had somewhere to be. So you guys know we talk about family a lot on here. There's a reason. And just so you know, you don't got to be blood related for somebody's family. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's all different family dynamics nowadays. Well, there always has been, really. And just take care of each other out there, guys. All right? And I'm going to go ahead and close this off, because my eyes are getting a little sweaty, and can't have that. Thanks for watching, guys.